Hello and welcome to Wild Owl TV. I thought it was about time I did a video diary, so let me show you some of the things that have been going on in the garden and some of the changes, in fact, because I've been working pretty hard the last few weeks to make a few changes. So first thing is the Wren Nest. So let's have a look in the shed. Now, the shed has been left empty and the Wren's nest is in here, and in fact I think it's redundant, and I'm going to put my finger inside, which I've been watching the cameras, and there's nothing inside, there's no eggs, anything like that, and to be honest with you, I'm quite pleased about that. It would have been nice to have some baby wrens in the garden, but wrens actually build more than one nest, and what the male does, he builds a nest and then he tries to attract a female to one of the nests, and I can hear wrens both sides of the garden, and this male has been singing a lot by the shed, but the female, no female has actually responded. And it's quite a good thing because that shed gets really hot, and one of my concerns was that if there was a nest inside the shed, although it would be obviously protected from predators, it would also get very, very hot, particularly on a lovely day like today. So this also means that I can take the shed down, which is my original plan, because I'm moving my aviaries around for the owls. So that's the Wren's nest. Now, what have I been doing? Well, because the decking was rotting, I've actually created a new area. Now, this has changed the situation for some of the, well, particularly the wood mice, because they would always use a route around the edge of the house under the decking, it was always a risk that the wood mice would pop up these little holes and go into the house. But what I've done, I don't know if the camera will pick it up there, but I've actually put some mesh and netting there. So, however, I have also allowed a little space in there for the mice to go under the decking and reach the corner of the garden by the shed area. But that's going to change anyway. So the mice are going to have the rest of the garden free. Now, what else is going on? Well, one of the things that is going on is the birds. Let me just, as I'm talking to you here, I'm getting mobbed because we are now at the peak of the season for nests. And although the blue tit eggs haven't hatched yet, the blackbirds have. And so these birds are absolutely going mad for the mealworms that I provide them. As always, trying to hold a camera and do other things, so I'll take some mealworms with me, and come on then. I'm sure that I can hear the robin somewhere. Oh, there's the great tit. So the great, come on then. Come on then. Hello. So that's a great tit. Now that great tit has just gone into the hedge and is preparing the food, and if we walk down the garden, I've actually got some cameras set up on its nest. Oh, there he goes. He was quicker than I was, but he was straight into the nest, and he'll come back out in a second, feeding that mealworm to the young inside the nest. There he goes. So I'm going to offer him some more food. Come on then. Come on. Where is he? Oh, he's down the other end in the usual area. Come on then. Here he comes. Hello, darling. All right, so off he goes just to prepare the food, and we'll get ourselves over to the box once again. And any minute now, he'll be turning up there he goes, to deliver the food. Now, I've just done a 30-second video of the great tits, and it's good to see them bringing in caterpillars. You know, it's very important that they have natural food, but these mealworms are very, very important. Come on then. Very, very important supplement, and it just means those young great tits in the nest really are growing at a hell of a pace, and it's just so rewarding, and it's just doing my little bit to help them. Now, as far as flowers in the garden concerned, this is one of my real important flowers. Now, to anybody else who'd think this was a weed, it's called comfrey, and it looks a bit like a weed. In fact, my partner was just saying to me, oh, I don't like that stuff, it's really messy. Yeah, it might be messy, but I'll tell you what, it's fantastic for bumblebees. And oh, just spotted something there as well. Let me just get my eye in the viewfinder, see if we can just find it. Where's it gone? Oh, just saw a little moth. I've lost it. Oh, there it is. Bear with me. What is that? That's a beauty, isn't it? It is amazing what you find in a wildlife garden. Let's get a bit closer on that moth. Where are we? Is there somewhere? I've lost it again. Oh, there he is. See if we can get the focus. There you go. What a beauty that is. Really never ceases to amaze me what you find. That's a new one for me, so hopefully somebody can put a comment on this video and tell me what that is, because I don't know. So, as mentioned about comfrey. Comfrey is come on in. We're going to have regular interruptions from the great tit there. Comfrey is fantastic for bumblebees, and it's coming out in flower at the moment and will be full of bumblebees. We've got the allium as well. Allium, very pretty plant. And there's buddleia there, which will come out later in the summer. So that's good that you have different plants coming at different times. The spirea here. And then there's a mix of cotoneaster and honeysuckle. Go on then. There you go. Cotoneaster and honeysuckle, and this particular species, a variety of cotoneaster, is actually very good for bees. Just trying to find some bees for you, but is very active with bees. There you go, coming in on the flowers. So certain varieties work better than others, and of course honeysuckle will be out later on. And I started to say that what's really important is to make sure that when you have flowers in the garden, that you have flowers and plants that flower at different times of the year, so that you're providing nectar and pollen throughout the season, from the early spring right the way through to the autumn. And it's very important to choose that, because what you don't want is it all to peak and then there'd be nothing for the rest of the year, because these insects, different types of insects, need nectar and pollen throughout the year. Now, I'm going to do a separate video on solitary bee habitats, which I keep promising I will do. These are my solitary bee habitats. I've put them all together because I want to try and create a little bit of a colony. And this is facing the sun, so we've got a very lucky, we've got a south-facing garden, so the sun's right up there, and these are getting very warm, and that's exactly what these insects want. They want it to be very warm. And if I just have a quick gander, see if there's any around, still not really peaked yet. There's still lots of cells inside. These are mostly leaf cutters in this particular one. Some red mason bees, but again mostly leaf cutters. That's red mason bee there, and that looks like that bee's emerged. But by now I would have thought there'd be a lot more buzzing around, so hopefully that will be the case quite soon. Okay, let's take you around the garden. So what's happening with the ducks? Well, Ducky obviously left with her ducklings, but we've had another pair of ducks that have been coming in regularly in the garden. And me and Rich McD, Rich inspired me to do this wonderful duck house, which I've actually anchored using some plastic tube so it doesn't float around the garden. Come on then. There you go. Let's just take you around the corner here. That's what's happening at the moment with our duck house, but it's empty, nothing happening. And in fact, this last couple of days there hasn't been very much activity with these ducks, so I'm not sure now whether they're going to breed. But as I said in my previous videos, it's a bit of a relief because it's a hell of a responsibility. The pond is full of newts. Got some fantastic video of newts spawning a few weeks ago, which I'll post on another diary. And barley straws in there to try and help it clear. And of course, with my my new beach area there, it really is wonderful because I can get right on top of the pond now and study what's going on. So I'm very excited about that. That wood pigeon isn't there by accident. The reason that wood pigeon's there is because they've just decided to build a nest in the hedge. As well as we've got blackbird's nest in there and also dunnock's nest. Now, oh, by the way, blue tits up in this box here. That's a great tit there. So the blue tits are actually currently on eggs in there. I better just go and get some mealworms for the great tit because he's following me around the garden. Come on then. As is the blackbird. It really is a wonderful, wonderful time of year. I'm a very happy man at the moment. Really enjoying my wildlife garden as come on then. He's up on top of the roof there. There you go. Good boy. There you go. Yeah, very excited just now. And the reason was because, as you might remember, I've got 2 hibernaculums. I've got one in this area, which is here to attract slow worms and for overwintering for frogs and toads and newts, and obviously lots of invertebrates. There's a great tit popping back in there. You can hear. Hello. Be followed around by a blackbird. Come on then. This blackbird's so greedy. Aren't you greedy? Come on then. Anyway, yeah, so I got distracted. Right, the hibernaculums. So we've got hibernaculum in the corner there, and we've got a hibernaculum here. Okay, hiding under this hawthorn, which incidentally, hawthorn is flowering for the first year. Beautiful. So, the idea of a hibernaculum is to provide refuge for amphibians. Now, this is the nursery pond here, and there's a little frog under there, which is lovely to see, little baby frogs. Unfortunately, I don't see many grown-up frogs, which is a bit of a concern. So just now, I'm checking the toad cave, and let's just see if what I found just now is still here. Right, let's have a little look around, because what I found was, come on babes, which end are you there? A slow worm, come on, I got you, don't want to hurt you. Oh, come on, nearly there. Come on. Oh, just gently. There we go. What have we got? We got a slow worm. And I'm so chuffed. There you go. So look at that. That is British wildlife at its best. And this is a male slow worm, I'm pretty certain. It's a small silvery colour. This slow worm has moved from the hibernaculum and is now in the rockery area, which is a fantastic place for it to live. It's because there's lots of cover, it gets very warm, which will suit this reptile, there's of course lots of things for it to eat. Now, slow worms are actually legless lizards. And so they're not, let's see if I can get a closer view for you. This camera lenses, I might have to zoom in on software here. Slow worms are actually legless lizards, so they're not snakes, and they are completely harmless. Beautiful reptiles. And as you can see, this particular one isn't very big, and I'm going to let him go straight away because let me just pop him back in there and he'll disappear. There you go, darling. Very quickly. There he goes. In amongst the grass. So, fantastic. Absolutely chuffed about that. Slow worm in the rockery. So, every time I find slow worms in the garden, I'm absolutely overjoyed because they're so important. And because of the habitat here, they can hide away in amongst the wild areas, and hopefully escape the attentions of cats, which is, in a domestic situation in urban gardens, is probably its biggest threat. This is my log here, drilled solitary bee holes in the log, not been used before, and then in the compost heap. Anybody in there? No. Most nights there's a wood mouse in there. Okay, so as I say, all sorts going on. Let's have a little look on the CCTV. I've been posting regular updates. There's our great chicks in there. And if we just pop on to the blue tit box, the blue one I showed you just now, that's the blue tit inside the blue tit box, and she's on eggs at the moment. Now, still got this pond for sale, by the way, if anybody's interested. 20 quid. First person to make an offer, 20 quid can have that. It's brilliant. It's exactly the same as my nursery pond, and that's a bargain. This area is going to be planted up this year, so it's all dug over. So in terms of flowers in the garden, not so much happening. But like I say, it's a fantastic time of year, and just finding a slow worm for the first time this year is really, really wonderful, because they're benefiting from this garden. I don't use any chemicals in the garden, never ever use slug pellets or anything like that. So if they move out of the garden, I can't control what neighbours are doing. But in the wild owl garden, it's actually a very safe place. And with me chasing the cat away most days, I try and keep it as safe as possible. And now that I'm working professionally as wild owl and giving talks and visits and things like that, I've got more time here, and hopefully I can safeguard the animals that I've got here. So I think I've remembered everything. I'm bound to have forgotten some things. There's always something I think about. Badgers, we've covered badgers. Yeah, they're coming in occasionally. Just spent 30 odd quid on peanuts, but they haven't eaten any yet. And of course the live mealworms are doing their trick. To keep the wild birds happy. So yeah, I think it's a fairly comprehensive update. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thanks for liking my page. Thanks for listening to everything that I'm saying and reporting. Hope you're enjoying it. And I'm certainly enjoying doing all of this for you. And spread the word. Share this video and share my posts, and let's see if we can get more people fascinated and enthralled about British wildlife. Thanks for watching Wild Owl TV. See you again. Bye.